Well, we are in Acts chapter 5, and a really cool story takes place in the chapter 5 of Acts. Peter and a few of the disciples have just been told that they're not allowed to witness or share about the cross of Christ anymore, that they can't use Jesus' name when they're telling people about God or Jesus. And so they get thrown in prison. And so Peter and a few of the other disciples are in prison, and God appears to him in the night and opens the door and says, "Go down to the temple, and I want you to speak to people some more about Jesus." And so they go and they leave, and they're out there speaking. Then that morning, the Sadducees and the Pharisees say, "Hey, temple guards, we want to go, prison guards, we want you to go get Peter and the other disciples out of the prison." And so they go down there, they open the door, and they are not there. And they're trying to figure out what it is, and some people realize, hey, we just heard some reports that Peter and the disciples are down near the temple speaking about Christ again. So they say, okay, go get him, and they bring him in to the Pharisees and the Sadducees, and they are mad because they're talking about Jesus. And the disciples are claiming that it was the Pharisees and the Israelites who killed Jesus, who had him killed, but that Jesus raised from the dead. And the Pharisees, they didn't like this. Sadducees, these were the men of the law. They didn't like this one bit. And so what are they going to do? They're going to kill Peter and all these disciples. They're just going to get rid of them. They're like, we can't take this anymore. This isn't good for our image. This just is not good stuff. But one of the Pharisees speaks up. He speaks up and he says, "Can I talk to you guys alone?" And he talks to him alone. And this is what he says. It's verse 36. This is what he says. It says, "Some time ago, Theodos appeared claiming to be somebody, and about 400 men rallied behind him. He was killed, and his followers dispersed. They went their separate ways. Judas the Galilean appeared in the days of the census and led a band in a revolt. He died, and his people scattered. He said, therefore, in the present case, I advise you, leave these men alone." Listen to this. "Let them go. For if their purpose or activity is of human origin, it will fail. But if it is from God, you will not be able to stop these men. You will only find yourselves fighting against God." Now this Pharisee understood. He was a teacher of the law, and he understood something. He said, look guys, in the times past, we've tried to stop those other people that started revolts, but it was all them anyway, and it was all human, and it was just their flesh wanting to get credit for something, and it failed because they died and everybody went their separate ways. He goes, and if these people are doing the same thing, then it's gonna fail. So why do we even care? But if this is truly a God thing, then it's not going to fail. And you can kill them, you can flog them, you can do whatever it is that you're going to do. But it's not going to fail, because you're not going to be fighting against men or these disciples. You're going to be fighting against God. You're going to lose the battle. Pretty smart Pharisee, I would say. Guys, the same truth is in our lives today. Some of us get so caught up in our own things, in our own plans, in our own desires, that we find ourselves doing our own things. Guys, those things are going to fail. They're not going to succeed. They might look good for a while. It might be really awesome for a while. But are your plans God's plans? Because those aren't going to fail. Get behind what God has for your life.